So, it's been like a week since my last upload. I actually recorded a huge 1 hour long release going in super hard on a lot of topics in relation to my situation. But then I learned the hard way that Google decided to force phone number verification just to be able to upload YouTube videos longer than 15 minutes. So, since none of the free numbers I could find on the internet work for YouTube, and I don't have an actual paid number myself, that 1 hour recording I made can't even be published. Initially, I actually wanted to scream. Like, I was so mad. But then I thought about things for a bit and came up with a solution. I realized that the main reason a lot of podcasts typically have episodes that are longer is because the host brings in a guest or multiple guests and they cover multiple sections of topics in one go with them. And that's why it makes sense to decide to organize what they put out that way. But since I'm just talking to the mic alone, it probably works even better for me to have a format where I just individually cover a section of subject matter or something I feel is worth addressing on a given day as its own recording or video, and then release those shorter things separately. I think it'll work alright. I'll try it out and see how it goes. For now, I've been able to manage to plan ahead even a bit for the next few recordings. And I've also thought of how I can split up what I said in the 1 hour long recording into multiple smaller ones that are organized more by a general topic I discussed in it. So I have a lot more stuff in my archives and drafts that will probably work well to release this way as well. So it seems promising to me so far. Plus, I tend to see random things happen in Kimmy's content that I might feel compelled to speak up about, so that probably also works better in shorter recordings. Make no mistake, I have a lot more and higher quality stuff coming here regardless. This relentless assault on my existence that I've had to deal with for the past several years is just so intense and painful and constant that it's a lot for me to not only have to watch and personally experience and then logically and emotionally process and then write about what I'm seeing, but now I also have to find the time and environment to reasonably clearly record myself speaking everything I prepared and then throw it in with some video editing. Still all by myself, by the way. Also, sometimes reactions feel necessary very quickly to really show I'm serious, which can be quite emotionally exhausting and require navigating in difficult ways. So I'm not too surprised the very beginning has been a little rough, but overall, I'm confident I've handled much harder stuff in my life, and this is actually relatively easy compared to something like, say, coding an entire SMTP server up to RFC spec and custom mail list infrastructure to go with it, completely from the ground up. So, yeah. I took a much more personal approach to this situation and really resisted content creation like making YouTube videos or podcasts or live streaming or anything like that for many years because of two main reasons. First of all, I know a lot of content creators live very fake lives and tend to be rather dishonest about the reality of the connections they make and foster with the following they build. And I had the sense that people would be even more inclined to believe I'm living a very fake life if I had seemed even the slightest bit eager to build a following than otherwise. Second of all, content creation and building a following is often done with a heavy focus on making money. even if you aren't thinking that way, it easily comes off to people like you have intent to, which then only becomes another serious barrier I'd face in coming off sincere in what I'm doing. But I'm now very confident that neither of these things are an issue for me. I've been extremely meticulous in my approach to ensure it. In fact, completely resisting content creation at this point, at least to the level of a podcast like this, probably would only hurt my efforts in what I've actually wanted all along. So, here we are. Maybe now all the snakes that have been spreading gossip and lies about me for years will take a long, hard look at themselves and maybe reconsider trying to make a complete mockery of my existence and spreading another laundry list of lies about me because they're selfish and delusional and jealous and spiteful that I exist and I'm not a fraud like they are. I'm really not sure what to call these exactly, but I won't be calling them episodes. That has two very concerning ways to misinterpret it, I think. First of all, an episode can imply I see this as primarily a show, meaning there are perhaps heavy implications that I'm acting or pretending to some significant extent, which is actually very much not the case at all. Second of all, an episode is like what they call a psychotic episode. Like, you probably heard the words manic episode for like people with bipolar. So the word episode also has implications towards being mentally ill, which once again, I'm actually very much not at all. And yes, I've been thoroughly, professionally, psychologically evaluated on court order and would be locked up in a mental hospital right now if I had mental illness and lived my life the way I do. So that's not just my opinion. I've also been given what I consider serious reason I won't get into specifically to avoid using the term dose to describe these. Let's just say seeing someone I don't at all know or particularly care for having mental breakdowns over me low-key and posting it on the internet is enough to communicate very clearly to me that I should stay away from that wording. I guess I'll just number them sequentially and leave it at that, at least definitely for now. I don't want to pick apart that one aspect of this too much, and a bunch of people would probably already say I'm being really meticulous or obsessive, thinking even as hard as I already have about it. But whatever. I'm a meticulous person, okay? Deal with that.